What's going on, everybody? It's Geoff Grammer with the ABQJournal. Hope you guys can all hear me loud and clear. I am at Acrisure Arena in Palm Desert, California. I know we have been advertising, or they have been advertising, and we have been reporting that this was in Palm Springs. Technically, it is in Palm Desert, California, and it is an event brought to you by Visit Palm Springs. So, if you see any confusion as to why the AP story coverage out of here is saying Palm Desert, and why you may see some things that say Palm Desert, that's why. We are, about a little less than 20 minutes away now from Arizona State and New Mexico Lobos playing in the final game of today's jam-packed Acrisure Invitational, not to be confused with the Acrisure Invitational, or Classic rather, that the Lobos are playing in. Here we are. Again, I only have one mic plugged in, so let me, you know what, I know you would, DJ, you had asked me before about the camera, and I'm wondering if the camera mic has a mic that I don't know how to turn off, because it says it is not on, and I don't even have it up on the stage right now, so I'm wondering if that's what it is. As far as the background music goes, maybe it's just this headset. You know, I've got the dynamic mic, and it's supposed to be just picking up my voice right now in front of the microphone. But anyway, Acrisure Classic has us up here kind of in the nosebleed section. It's certainly not a full arena right now, but there's no media seating down low. And the Lobos, as far as I know, there is nobody injured tonight. Obviously, we reported earlier in the week on some of the injuries with the walk-ons. We have two local walk-ons, Shane Sanchez and Daraji Abayosi, both with shoulder surgery, coincidentally, that will be out for the season. Both local kids and both walk-ons. And the third walk-on, Dylan Chavez from Cueva High School, has been suspended for this week. Patino says it's nothing. Richard Patino said it's nothing that should be long-term by any stretch of the imagination, but said they deal with it after Palm Springs. So I think that's just a freshman learning from college, learning how to be a college kid a little bit, and stuff like that going on. So the earlier game on this side of the bracket, or in this tournament, not the Acrisure Invitational, which earlier had I did talk with Danny Sprinkle from Washington, Colorado State, former Utah State coach Danny Sprinkle, and I talked a little bit about that game and about his team and the Mountain West in general, and Utah State's fast start, the team who left, which is good with 3 starters, and talked a little bit there, and they had a good win against Colorado State. And that is the Acrisure, again, Invitational, as opposed to what this is, the Acrisure Classic, where the game right before this one was pretty shocking for you. St. Mary's beat USC 71-36. So the winner of this New Mexico Arizona State game is going to play St. Mary's, who looked fantastic. Pretty much everything they did tonight looked great. Their defense was good. Their passing was good. Their rebounding was on point. Let's see, they out-rebounded USC 46-23. USC couldn't do anything at the rim. They shot 26%, 13-50 from the field in USC. And Muss was actually just right next to me here. 0-12, by the way, from three-point range. 0-12 from three-point range. And Muss was just up here a couple minutes ago, right next to me, doing his post-game interview with the radio for USC here. And he was not happy, as you can imagine. He did bring himself technical. He was out on the court, and as Muss often does when he was in the Mountain West, he earned it. And but man, nothing went right for USC. I get where he was coming from. The frustration was mounting for a lot of the players, and the loser of this New Mexico Arizona State game is going to be playing that USC team, which I can't imagine to have a fun night with Muss watching film and team watching film. So we shall see how that USC team responds tomorrow and whoever they have to play. As far as St. Mary's, though, they look anything tomorrow night like they did tonight, I don't think it's going to matter who plays them. St. Mary's looks fantastic. And even though they lost 8 to UConn, who, by the way, isn't even part of UConn's rotation anymore. He's not even out of November in UConn, which lost 4 in a row at the Maui rotation. Pretty much isn't even playing Aiden Haney anymore. He could have been at St. Mary's this year and certainly been a star. He's a fantastic shooting guard for St. Mary's last couple of years and transferred to UConn. That one where, while I think it's certainly early in the season to say it's over for the Aiden Mahaney experiment at UConn, I will say that that one, while he might have got paid pretty well, I don't know what he got paid NIL-wise. That'll go down, it appears, it could go down as one of the transfer portal misses. I don't think the transfer portal has a whole lot more success stories that people like to take credit for. Players are finding better roles and good situations for themselves, and they're also making some money. So I like all that. I don't think the Aiden Haney one, at least so far at UConn, is one of those situations. So we are now about 10 minutes away. The matchup today, I wrote about it a little bit in today's paper. Richard Pitino is excited about these opportunities, but knows Arizona State's a big team. And size on the perimeter could give his guards a little bit of problems, a little bit of trouble. This isn't a small Lobo team like last year where they had 2 6'2" guards and a 6-foot point guard. So they had 3 guards, 6'2" or less, that were starting. That team did make the NCAA tournament, but they tried to get bigger in the offseason for games like this. And they now start 2 6'4" guards and a 6'2" point guard in Donovan Dent. It's been fantastic. Donovan Dent will be the best player on the court, I believe. I don't know what kind of game he's going to have tonight, but I do think Donovan Dent will be the best player on the court tonight for both teams. There is a McDonald's All-American on Arizona State who has been playing very well, a big guy that I think could give the Lobos some problems down low if his athleticism matches up well with Nelly and Joseph's athleticism. And I just think that this is a situation where the Lobos, if they do what they did, they have 2 big games under their belt so far, right? Against UCLA, they look fantastic. Never trailed. It was tied 2-2 at one point. Otherwise, the Lobos basically led almost from wire to wire, other than 2-2 tie. And they look fantastic against an athletic UCLA team. Then they go to St. John's the following week in New York, and it looked like they were on a sightseeing tour. Maybe some players even talked about how there's a lot of walking around in New York, right? And families were there. This was a big event. They played in Madison Square Garden. They were in New York City. A lot of Lobo fans went, and I think it turned into maybe more of a sightseeing tour than the Lobos would have liked it to have been. This one, the holiday tournament, there are a lot of families here, a lot of Lobo fans here. I can tell you right now, I'm looking across the way at quite a bit of Lobo fans. They will be sitting on this side of the court, of the arena, and you can see a decent number, certainly relative to who else showed up here. There's not many Arizona State fans, but quite a few local fans. I do see some New Mexico flags in the arena. And all that said, this is not exactly the sightseeing tour that Madison Square Garden in New York City was when they played St. John's and got beat up with. They lost by double digits. I think this will be a little bit more business-like for the Lobos, who I do see starting to come out of the locker room right now, getting ready for this game. And yes, some New Mexico flags. Wouldn't be a New Mexico Lobo basketball game without some New Mexico flags. That just is sort of how it goes now. I don't know really when that started. You always see 1 or 2, but now you'll see them on the road. You'll see them everywhere. As people who follow me on social media know, I just start posting them when I see them at NFL games now. And it's become quite the tradition for New Mexico sports fans in general, specifically Lobo basketball fans who have been going crazy with their New Mexico State flags. And so there you are. Anybody who watched the last 3 days of the Maui Invitational saw Dan Hurley going crazy for UConn, and they lost 3 straight games. His brother was the coach of Arizona State and acts just like his brother, so it will be interesting to see if Bobby has any of the same emotional outbursts that Dan had. Jalen House, of course, the 3-year Lobo left Arizona State. He didn't like playing time in this game. He liked his teammates. He did not get along with, or did not agree with the playing time situation he was getting from Bobby Hurley, and that's the connection. I think the recent connection anyway between the two programs is that Jalen House transferred from Arizona State to play for the Lobos, and would have loved I think this opportunity to play just once against Arizona State while he was a Lobo, but he's not playing in June. And these Lobos will have to step up for him in tonight's game. I am now trying to pull up here. Let's see. Give you guys some matchup information here, and I did write about it in today's journal, ABQJournal.com/sports. We'll get you there a little bit quicker, but just looking at the KenPom numbers here, New Mexico, according to KenPom, is favored by 2, should win 79-77. If you want to go to the Vegas odds and take a look at what's going on, I believe the Lobos now, let's pull it up here. Lobos are favored by 3.5 or 4, depending on where you go on your betting lines. And the Lobos have now come out onto the court. Lobos are favored by either 3.5 or 4 points. And like my hand there on the screen there, sorry guys. I need to get a different camera there and show you guys. Be able to rotate that second camera for you guys without my hand having to do it. Anyway, I don't know if you guys can see very well from this webcam anyway, from where they have us in the radio up here, but the Lobos are out on the court, and like I said, I don't see anybody injured. I talked to one of the assistants before the game, and there was no talk of anybody being injured or being out today. The starting lineup did change a few games ago, and as far as I know, I'm going to pull it up right now, see if they've entered it into the stat broadcast system, and let's see, Acrisure Invitational is, although this is the Acrisure Classic, these stats are under the Acrisure Invitational stat broadcast. And the starting lineup is the usual CJ, well, the usual for the past 2 games. This will be the 3rd in a row, with CJ Nolan starting as the 3. You got Donovan Dent, True Washington, the 1 and the 2, which has been all season. And then you got Mustafa Amzil and Nelly Jr. Joseph at the 4 and the 5. Those 4 have been the regular starters. It was CJ Nolan 3 games ago that at halftime of the St. John's game took over for Philip Boroditsinen, who'd been struggling all year and kind of had a little bit of a breakout in the second half against Texas Southern just this past Sunday. I'd asked Patino earlier this week if that would mean maybe more playing time. Maybe that was it. That was all they needed to see out of Phil to kind of get him back into the rotation and back into maybe some big regular minutes rather than not playing in the second half at all against St. John's, not getting into the Texas Southern blowout until there were 9 minutes left in the game, when he then kind of over a 2.5, 3 minute span scored 11 points and was just dominant in a lot of ways. I thought that maybe that would get him back into the rotation a little bit. I asked Patino about that, and what Patino said was, hopefully it gets his confidence back. But the reality is he really likes what Braden Applehans has been doing lately. So Braden Applehans at 6'7", he's not the same size. He's not the 6'9" wing that Philip Boroditsinen is. But at 6'7" and really quality minutes lately from Braden Applehans, he's kind of taken over the backup wing spot after CJ Nolan, who at 6'4" isn't exactly the big wing that they were hoping for this season. But CJ Nolan, all he's done is exactly what they recruited him for right out of the transfer portal. He started his college career at Oklahoma, then he went to North Texas, and that's where he came from last year. And the Lobos liked CJ Nolan for 3 things, really. They needed an experienced guard. They got one in here. They needed poise and experience. That's what they got. He's a team captain. He's a guy that can step to the free throw line like he did against UCLA when he went 8 for 8 at the free throw line. He's a guy that can basically do that if need be, hit the clutch free throws when needed. They needed an outside shooter. CJ Nolan has been one of the only 2 consistent outside shooters for the Lobos. And then obviously they needed one other thing, and that was in here they needed some defense, and they got it. So here we are. We're about 2 minutes away now from game time, and I'm going to sign off now. Arizona State, UNM, in about 3 minutes, 4 minutes probably before we actually kick this thing off. And after the game, you go to ABQJournal.com/sports to get all our game coverage. There will not be an empty moment tomorrow morning for this one, but they will play, like I said, if they win, they'll play St. Mary's, who look fantastic. If they lose, they'll play USC, who look horrible. And tomorrow's a whole new day, so who knows how those 2 teams will play tomorrow. But thank you guys for joining me now. Kind of had a weird setup where we got started late, and there's no outlets on that side of the gym where I was a second ago, so I found a place on the other side of the gym, and here we are. Thank you guys for watching. ABQJournal.com for all the coverage coming after the game, and until next time, thanks, guys.